Hello, I'm Gill Stannard. I've been a naturopath for over 30 years and I love working with food and herbal medicine. So, this is another 5-minute health update and something I'm really passionate about that I'm doing it again myself. So, about 7 years ago, I wrote about the 40 plant food challenge for a healthy microbiome. Basically, plant foods, when they haven't been adulterated, like refined and fried, um, are the basis for a really healthy gut. Sometimes they're referred to as prebiotics. Some people buy prebiotics in capsules or whatever, but really, you just need to work with your diet to get them. So everything comes from the gut in naturopathy. Really, healthy gut, healthy person, happy mind. So the 40 plant foods challenge is in the space of a week of 7 days to eat 40 different plant foods. And by that we mean fruit, veggies, legumes, nuts, seeds, unrefined plant foods. Unfortunately, chips don't count. Okay, so I've been doing it for 3 days and I thought I'd check in. So, what I tend to find is the first 30 are easy, the last 10 are more challenging. And I'll explain why if you haven't done it before in a moment. So, in the past 3 days, my stellar meal is my homemade muesli. And recently I upped the game by swapping out the rolled oats for a 5 grain rolled grain porridge mix to have, because I soak my oats, they get nice and soft before I eat them. So I soak my muesli. So I've got 5 different grains in the muesli base. I've got 5 different seeds in an omega seed mix, so that takes me to 10. I've added in 2 nuts, so this batch has walnuts and almonds, but I swap them around depending on what I've got. And lastly, I just add a little bit of dried fruit. This time it's dried white mulberries because they're really easy. I don't have to chop them up. It's easy for me to mix up a big batch of muesli. And I'll often have it with a fresh fruit. So the muesli itself, before I add fresh fruit to it, is 13 different plant foods. I soak it in a plant milk, but I don't tend to add that to the count because it's been modified. It's a modified food. It's been refined. So I've got my 13 from that this week, either on my muesli or as a snack so far. I've had 5 different fruits. And the tally so far of vegetables is 12 different vegetables. So I have hit my 30 foods mark, and kind of it's almost like a midweek hump because the challenge now, and this is the crux of it, is that you can't count the same food twice. So if I get carrots as part of my lunch or dinner every single night, the carrots would only count once. That wonderful 13 ingredient muesli only count once. See where it gets a bit challenging. What I haven't had this week so far are some beans and legumes. So I'll make a dal. I'll make a dal with red lentils and chana dal, which give me 2 more plant foods, maybe more depending on if I can find any veggies I haven't had already this week to add into the dal. But I'll add brown rice, so that'll be 3. That'll be 3 extra foods that are coming up this week. So my tips to get those extra foods in is, because I tend to buy my fruit and veggies at the market and they tend to be really seasonal, sometimes things get a little bit stuck as far as what fruits and veg I'll eat in a week. So I like to kind of treat myself to lunch on a workday if I've got a long enough break, and I might go for uh, a largely vegetarian meal. It might be Asian. It might be something which I always think is extra points in my brain, as if it's pickled. So something with kimchi or sauerkraut or Japanese pickled veggies, amazing, amazing. So that's one tip. Another tip is, if you've got something hiding at the back of your freezer that you made a few months ago when you had different veggies available, then pull that out now. I tend to make an end of the veggie shopping week green veggie soup this winter, and this week I had onion, garlic. You can count the garlic. I haven't so far on my count. some leftover zucchini, some leftover broccoli, some cavolo nero from the garden, a few mushrooms and a small potato to kind of thicken it up before I blend it up. So yeah, I might see if I might have a pumpkin soup in the freezer and I might pull on that. You could swap a meal with a friend or neighbor if you have similar food tastes, and they might have different things. So add in some different nuts as a snack. Maybe have some beans, either freshly cooked, or if you can't be bothered, canned and rinsed really well. Maybe some chili beans with some kidney beans or pinto beans or black beans, or a combination of all three, even better. Some three bean mix if you really want to add them up, just put it into a salad, rinse them really well with hot water to get that kind of tinned liquid out of them. So that is my challenge for you. If not this week, next week, to up the ante. I will link the original article, explains a bit more about the microbiome and some other hacks and tricks to get your 40 plant food. So tell me how you're going. How many plant foods have you had this week, or have you had when you've done the challenge? I just do it about once a year just to check in that I'm getting variety, because we know variety is spice of life. If there's anything else I can do to help you, all my details are at gillstannard.com.au, and I have a stack of recipes in the food section. So if you've bought some quinoa that's at the back of your cupboard, or you've got some chia and thought, oh, you're going to make chia pudding and forgotten how, all the recipes are there. See you soon.